In this video, we look at new trends in innovation and entrepreneurship, specifically how it benefits small towns. Because innovation and entrepreneurship in countries that are at the top of this game have changed in ways that provide many opportunities for small town revitalization. And that is what we are looking at here. If you are someone that think outside of the box and truly believe that together we can achieve more than the sum of our individual efforts, then this video is for you, specifically as it relates to how we develop small towns into vibrant places to live and work, and how we make small town businesses thrive. Countries that do really well in innovation have embraced innovation economies. And basically what that means is they are using innovation and entrepreneurship as mechanism for growth. In order to understand how those that do really well, that habitually and regularly are in the top of the global innovation index, to understand how they are different and in which areas they excel, I've made this image and I need to explain how it works before I can actually start to talk about it. There are very many different ways in which innovation economies can function. And for the most, what is most well known is the bottom left quadrant, where we focus on startup companies, on individual innovations like new inventions. And many of these countries have got lots and lots of sole proprietors that identify a gap in the market and start up a new company to cater for that particular gap in the market, or individual inventions that lead to new companies. And they grow up into this left-hand side of the image. They become high-growth companies if they are successful, and they may end up become corporations or larger companies that do really well in the economy and add a lot of benefit. So this is what very many countries and very many people would think the moment we use the word innovation economies. But there's another approach which really sits on the right-hand side that many of us have limited understanding of, limited knowledge of, and there are not many countries that focus on this part more so than what they focus on the other part. Or, let me say it differently, there are not many countries that use startup companies to develop the right-hand side, so that it's not only individual ideas and singular efforts from individual or a few co-founders, but they become part of a larger effort that is beyond their own efforts, but enable their own efforts and help them to be more successful. So let's look at innovative ecosystems. You may know already about the smart city movement, where basically through sensors and making data available and then making that data publicly available, cities can become smart cities and use technology to understand how the city functions and to optimize the way in which life can happen there. Next to smart cities, of course, you have smart towns. And the New Zealand Institute for Rural Entrepreneurship already has an alliance with the Australasian Smart City Council to bring the notion of smart towns to the table, specifically because they are different, and approaching developing smart towns, if you look globally, are different from how smart cities are developed. It's not driven by technology. It's driven by what the community wants to achieve and then supported by technology. And then there's a program that we offer as the New Zealand Institute for Rural Entrepreneurship, where we promote group entrepreneurship in small towns, and we call that program Impact Towns. And I'm not going to say much more about it here at the moment, but that is something that we offer specifically to shift from singular efforts to group efforts and to develop this right-hand side in small towns. You, of course, already know about circular economies, and they sit beyond individual organizations, individual corporations, and they also sit beyond just innovative ecosystems. There are many players, many stakeholders, and many working together to develop a circular economy. Especially Finland really excels in developing circular economies that benefit individual businesses while they also participate in advancing the circular economy itself. Mostly, these things still work to do circular life cycles for products and services rather than linear life cycle for products and services, so that we have less waste. But if you look at the top side here, the notion of regenerative communities is really the ultimate of where innovation and entrepreneurship come together and develop whole communities that are regenerative and entrepreneurial. There are examples of regenerative communities, and they typically create their own energy, they create their own food, benefiting all individuals, while all individuals also participate in making the community work. There are examples of this that's already established, which we are going to look at as members of the New Zealand Institute for Rural Entrepreneurship. In short, the aim of the New Zealand Institute for Rural Entrepreneurship is to make use of the strong efforts that already exist on the left-hand side of this particular innovation economies slide and shift as much as possible to the right-hand side. The reason is simple, because if you want to focus on small towns, this right-hand side really benefits them, because small towns are by nature more collaborative, more used to working with diverse stakeholders and pulling them all together. Cooperatives are more common in small towns than what they are on the left-hand side. So there's a natural fit for this right-hand side if you look at innovation and entrepreneurship in small towns. While the normal innovation economies as we know it on the left-hand side can benefit small towns significantly, even more so when they become embedded in innovation economies that are developed on the right-hand side of this particular slide. And our efforts is to help small towns embrace this, develop this, so that we can accelerate growth. If the notion of building ecosystems that can benefit individual businesses as well as a group of businesses or even towns as a whole, or maybe even a group of towns, if that appeals to you and you want to use this particular approach to stimulate growth in your own business as well as in your local economy as well as in your regional economy, become a business member of the New Zealand Institute for Rural Entrepreneurship and work with other like-minded people to build thriving, future-proofed small town businesses and vibrant towns, because that is what this right-hand side of the innovation economies that we looked at, that is what that part enables, to build more sustainable environments where businesses can grow and thrive and where towns can become vibrant places to live and to work. In order to read more about the business membership, go to our website, nzire.net/business.